AskReddit by Chaz Magnum. People who asked for a pencil every single day in school. How is life going for you? I'd love to give you the long version, but my phone's about to die. Can I borrow your charger? Mine's at 4%. I need it more. My collection is nearly complete. A fine addition to my collection. So, my best friend did this. We are both adults with jobs now. I asked him the other day if he remembers a pen and he said his co-workers had gotten together to give him a humongous pen stand stuffed with pens to stop him from asking. I had a friend in high school that could never remember or keep a lighter. For Christmas one year we got her dozens of lighters. A cigar box cartoonishly overflowing with them. She ran out in early March or so. I became a nurse. Now I ask for pens instead of pencils and other nurses hunt me down if I take their pen. Don't nurses get issued a pen necklace of some kind? Like librarians and glasses chains? Now they're asking for phone chargers. As a teacher, those kids always have a charger they try to plug in as soon as they get to class. Pen? Pencil? Paper? Fuck that. But they better charge their phones so they can try to watch Netflix in class. I have a sewer in my office that is full of pens, pencils, markers, highlighters, low temp Sharpies, etc etc. Anyone can access it that needs one. I also have a secret drawer that only I can access. I can't imagine being so desperate for a pencil I'd be willing to take one out of the sewer. Really well. Now that I'm an adult in control of my environment and a budget, I can keep a small drawer on my desk that's dedicated to stationary utensils at work. I've also learned that supplies aren't expensive or hard to get, when I used to assume that people who were fully stocked had some sort of special access to things like teachers. Same for things from the pharmacy, like band-aids and batteries and eye drops. So now I'm the person with the odd thing you need when you don't know you need it. And it feels good, man. That was my experience as well. I do have ADHD, so I might have been organized or likely to lose things in some areas, so when I got a little bit older, I just started buying pens and stashing them everywhere. I was never without something to write with. My parents acted like my school supply spending. Back in those days it was like $20 a year, and my dad made a good income, was completely out of control. Now I buy myself nice pens and even fountain pens. I chose to study computer science. Losing a laptop is much harder than losing a pencil. I work in it. At least 3 times a week someone comes to borrow a laptop because they forgot theirs. It's slowed down a bit now that everyone is working from home and a replacement takes a week. The pencil mafia wants me to pay up. They have my family. Send help. We told you to keep your damn mouth shut. Say goodbye to little Timmy. I'm okay. Still disorganized AF, but I've learned to maintain stashes of pens, paper and other necessities in every single bag, pocket or drawer that I own. Some of which I have even bought myself. Deleted. Hey friend, consider actually just stopping college and taking a breather. I don't know where you live or what your financial situation is, but you can go back when you're in a better spot. It is worth it. You don't have to do this when you're not ready. It's going pretty good, really. Still ask for a pen most days and even return it sometimes, so I guess I've grown as a person. Same. Deleted. I have just finished construction of my house. Made entirely of HBs and 2Bs. Now I'm a special ed teacher. Teaching kids who lose their pencil 15x a day how to remember their pencils. Is this karma? Mom to special ed kid. I just put like 5 or more pencils in his pencil pouch every night so he never will be without one. He loses on average 3 a day. I figure some other kid finds them and uses them, so it's charity work if you think about it. I'm currently trying to figure out how to be responsible enough to be independent. I married someone who always had spare pens. We find each other. Now I feel like I need to ask my husband if he was the kid who always needed a pencil. Edit. Confirmed. Spartan is onto something here. Once knew a kid who went through her entire schooling life without owning any exercise books or a pencil case. She used to ask for a spare piece of paper and a pen every lesson. She's also one of the smartest people I know and still managed to duck our year and most of her classes. To this day I still don't know how she managed that and where she kept all the information we learned in class. It's insane. Ducks. I'm a carpenter now. And I still forget my pencil some days. Turned out okay somehow. Thanks for asking. I asked for a pencil very often. I grew up very poor and I could never ask my parents for something like pens or pencils. School was hard. I was kicked out freshman year for bad grades, sent to continuation, kicked out of continuation and then continued adult education. Life was tough. I now work for CA Depth of Corrections, and I make plus 100k a year. My kids will always have what they need, and some extra for others. Really, you're the best. Giving your kids a childhood that you wished but didn't have. I absolutely hated having to lend my pencils out and never get them back. I grew up poor, so it wasn't easy to furnish those to begin with. Eventually, I would only buy 2 mechanical pencils at the beginning of the year and leave one at home and carry one in my backpack with me. That way when someone asked if they could borrow a pencil, I could say no and not feel guilty. Are you me? One time my mom bought me a Hello Kitty ink pen. I was so proud of that thing and some kid took it and I was so afraid that when I went to get it back and they said it was theirs that the teacher would believe them. I was a terribly shy and anxious kid but luckily had some pretty decent classmates that made the boy give it back to me. I embarrassed so easily back then any confrontation would make me cry. Also very poor too growing up. My parents tried to scrimp and save to get me nice things so I wasn't made fun of in school and I was always hyper aware of that. I'm an accountant. Thank God all the work is on the computer now. Elementary school teacher. No, I won't lend you a pen because you won't always be able to rely on others for these things. My boss on my first day. Here's a supply closet. Just let Gail know if something starts to run low so she can order more. I'm a stripper. I couldn't even remember to bring a pencil to school. I obviously wasn't cut out for a life that required a lot of responsibility. I'm an independent contractor so I can show up to work whenever I want and don't have to remember a schedule. Plus I can get drunk at work. No responsibilities. Perfect. I guess it's fine if you forget your clothes too. Grade 5. I got 3 days ice and a recommendation for military school. My detention slip read again failed to bring necessary supplies and unprepared for class. I was such an obnoxious shithead to Ms. Morgan. She looked for any way she could to get me out of her class. To be fair, she was a bitch who didn't need to be anywhere near a school. Now, honorably discharged combat vet. Massage therapist trying to get into grad school. Married to a beautiful woman and have 2 adorable idiotic cats. My own apartment. Decent credit. Good grades. A failing child is still a child. Blame the parents, most of the time, and support the child. I only did it to annoy the shit out of this one girl. Tuned hand pencil vendor. Bought a 20 pack of Ticonderogas 3 years ago. Haven't asked for one since. Once I kicked the Xanax habit, it got a lot better. For me it switched from pencils to lighters. I'm sorry friends. In India we had this very lame thing which was if you asked for a pencil the other person would say Terry Shadi cancel, meaning your wedding's cancelled. So answering your question, I guess they are all single with 10 cats right now lol. IDKY I am sharing this but it just reminded me of my childhood. Not me, but my best friend, since middle school. His family had financial issues and he had a pretty bad relationship with them, to the degree where he would be afraid to ask them for any money or school supplies. I think for a solid 5 years I'd always have an extra pack of pencils on me that I would share with him. Him and I both made it into the same med school 3 years ago, and since he's been taking great care of himself, has a job, and made it a habit to always have those mechanical pencils in his dress shirt pocket lol. I'm very proud of him. Area man asks to borrow neighboring job applicants resume. Hey, PSSSSST. Yeah you got a keyboard I can borrow to reply to this comment? I got diagnosed with ADHD. Sorry, I couldn't afford a pencil at the time. Now willing to pay back. Find a teacher at a low-income school in your area and gift them a box or two. I guarantee they always need pencils for their students. Now it's especially bad. I hear a lot of school boards have instituted covered fighting rules where kids aren't allowed to share supplies in any way. So any need for a writing utensil comes straight from a teacher's personal supply and probably never finds its way back. Medical doctor still asks for pen and pencil every time. Note, I bought 50 pens at workplace but they only lasted 6 months. Most of them are in my colleagues' hands.